family, thank you for joining Sincerely Lady C, where I am as sincere as possible with this crazy thing called life and getting to know Jesus along the way. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to ask you guys to do me a favor and share this with someone. Share it to your social media. I promise, I feel like through my pain, somebody is going to know Jesus Christ. So I'm going to keep on sharing what I've learned through this journey that God has revealed to me and who He is to me. So won't you share it with someone, and maybe it'll inspire somebody to know Christ just a little bit more and encourage somebody to keep on pressing on in their darkest times. Share, share, share. Like this, punch the like button, and go ahead and subscribe. And if you want notifications of another devotion uploaded by me, go ahead and hit that bell. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to start off with a question. Have you ever been in a service where the ministers or the speaker or the worship leader has the mic and they are exalting God in their own way and explaining who God is to them? They could be saying God is a healer, He's a comforter, He's everything, He's my savior, He's my anchor, He's my buckler, He's my shield, and you're just sitting there like, yes, yes, He is all of that, yes, He is all of that and more. And then, but in reality, you have no idea what a buckler is. I had to do some studying on what a buckler is, because when I was a young Christian, I thought they said butler. Sure, he could be a butler. He is everything. But I had to really study it, and I was like, oh, they're not saying butler. They're saying buckler. So then when I studied buckler and what it actually means, it became more real to me who God is. So now, every time a minister or the speaker or worship leader is saying, God, you are a buckler. Yes, He's absolutely a buckler. It's more real to me when I'm in worship or when I am agreeing with the person with the mic. Yes, He is a buckler. Yes, He's a healer. What does that mean to you, what God is? Yes, I can agree with you. So that's where the question came from. I was journaling and I was telling God who He is, and then all of a sudden I said, God, you are my anchor. And then the Holy Spirit said, well, what does that even mean? And I was like, you kind of ground me wherever I need to be, ground me. And I was like, man, that doesn't feel like it's enough. And I thought about it. I was like, well, what's the purpose of an anchor? What does the anchor do? And that's when I started studying what an anchor is. And I want to talk to you guys about what I found on Google, what an anchor is. That's all I had. And listen, number one, I'm not a licensed minister. And number two, I don't go out at sea in the ocean with a boat, a vessel. So I'm gonna share with you a couple things that it meant to me, Christine. So of course it is coming from Hebrews 6:19 that explains that God is our hope and anchors our soul. Hebrews 6:19 reads, this hope we have as an anchor of the soul, both sure and steadfast, and which enters the presence behind the veil. So I want to talk to you guys about how Christ is our anchor. And I jotted down some information how the early Christians used the anchor to symbolize hope in Jesus Christ. So everywhere you saw the anchor, you knew that this believer understands the hope in Jesus Christ, the hope and salvation in Jesus Christ. And I thought that was really good. Also with this, and I want to bring out verse 18, but you can read verse 18 on your own. But in verse 18, there is a statement that says that God cannot lie. He's not a man that He shall lie. He cannot lie to you. So I want to throw this nugget in here. If He made you a promise, hold on to that promise. He will come through on that promise, no matter what it looks like. And no matter, listen, I'm ministering to myself. No matter how many tears you have shed, He will come through on the promise. No matter how much you have lost, how much devastation that loss has caused, replay that promise over and over. He is a promise keeper. And I will one day know Him as a promise keeper. However, He has a promise of salvation. That is the ultimate promise of salvation, of freedom. So if you are listening to me now and you do not know Christ, He will accept you just as you are and just let Him do the rest of the work, okay? He will free you from guilt. He will free you from shame. He will free you from yourself, your bondage that you have put on yourself, the shackles that you have put yourself into. He will free you from all of that. He will give you peace in turmoil. Sometimes you kind of don't feel worthy. Like, who am I that God is so mindful of me? Like, sometimes I don't even, well, most of the time, I don't feel worthy of these blessings that He has gifted me. I don't feel worthy, but I come to Him humbly, thanking Him, blessing me anyway. You're blessing me anyway. So I go back all the way back to the promise of salvation. No matter what it looks like, no matter your definition of your own self, He promises that He will accept you and adopt you and call you son and daughter. That is the promise and hope of salvation in Jesus Christ. So I hope this little quick nugget in coming to Christ will encourage you to be a believer if you are not already a believer. But we are about to get into our actual devotion, talking about being an anchor. Family, let's talk about Christ being an anchor. Of course, He is everything we need and more. You can call Him anything that you need, and He is just that. So right now, we are calling Him an anchor. And there are 3 things that I want to bring out that Christ is. The purpose of an anchor. I also want to talk about the special kind of anchors. And I want to talk about what you do when you are done with an anchor. Of course, I want my devotions to be 10 minutes, but I encourage you to study what an anchor really means. I've just Googled a couple things, and it resonated with me and it made it more real. So whenever I am in a service and the minister says, "You are my anchor," I know for sure, yes, I can agree with you. And I can testify that He is absolutely an anchor, because I've studied what it actually meant to me being that Christ is an anchor. First thing, the purpose in dropping the anchor. So a vessel, and also if you think about it, we are absolutely called vessels to be used by God. Wanted to throw that in there. So when I say vessels, you can think about yourself. I can think about me. Okay, all right, so dropping an anchor, which when a vessel is at shore and they want to be still, they drop the anchor. When they're out at sea, in the body of water, whatever body of water they're in, oceans, they drop an anchor to be still. Sometimes in my life, I need to drop the anchor. I need Christ to help me be still within the chaos and confusion and unanswered questions. I need to be still. So at times, I'm going to drop my anchor and let God be God and be still and know that He is God, okay? That's one thing, the purpose of an anchor. The other thing is to slow me down, to slow the vessel down. So when you drop that anchor, the vessel slows down, either because there's a steering failure or because they see something ahead that they might collide into and might make a shipwreck. So I can only talk for myself. There are times in my life where I needed to slow down. I was at a place, this is the wrong place, at the wrong time, and I shouldn't be here. I don't know what turn I probably did know what turn I made, but I made the wrong turn, and I'm going way too fast, and I see it. I see it right up ahead of me. I'm going to collide, and I'm going to disrupt everything in my life, so I need to slow down. Let me hold on to Christ, being my anchor, and slow me down. Okay, that was a good one. So those are 2 things that I brought out. Of course, there are more than that. I'm not a certified sailor. So I would spend some time Googling that if you really want to know what being an anchor means to you. Those are 2 things. Purpose of an anchor, either I need to be still in the moment, or I need to slow down in the moment because I feel like I'm going to make a shipwreck. So another thing is the special kind of anchor depending on the vessel and depending on the seabed. So there's a special kind of anchor for specific vessels. Of course, you know, Titanic and another ship, a smaller ship, they're not going to use the same anchor. Hello. So I thought about in ministry, some leaders, need a special kind of situation. Of course, everybody needs Christ, but I feel like for me, and compared to TD Jakes or somebody in the spotlight, they might need something else from God that I don't see myself needing, because I don't have 5,000, 50,000 people in a stadium listening to me right now. So special vessels, he is special. Somebody like him is a special kind of vessel, needs a special kind of anchor, right? Or my own pastor. Hello, they go through so much. They have to shepherd so many people. They need a special kind of anchor. It's really just me and my husband, you know? Well, I do have 150 students since I'm a teacher. Well, probably 130. But you need a special kind of anchor in a special situation, okay? And then it also depends on the seabed. I studied where a special kind of anchor depending on how the seabed is. It could be muddy, and it could have a lot of rocks down deep. So when you drop the anchor, you want to drop an anchor that will do its purpose. Like if you want to stop right there. Instead, some anchors will keep on going and not stop because it's rocky and you didn't use the right anchor. So in times of seasons when you are going through something and you need God to be a specific thing in your life, that's what you pull. That's what you hold on to. So in this season of my life, waiting on him to be the miracle worker that I know he is, I need him to keep me. I need him to be my peace. So I pull on that from Christ in this season. Well, I need him to be a whole bunch more, but I pull on that. I drop him. I use him as my anchor. This is what I need you to be at this season right now. Or if you need him to be a healer, to heal your body, that's what you pull on in that season. If I need you to be a heavy load bearer, I need that too. I have a heavy load that I need you to bear. So I pull on that as my anchor. As Christ is my anchor, I need you in this season to be that. Or if you just need him to be a sustainer, if you need him to be a comforter in the midnight hour, you pull on that in that specific season. He can be that specific anchor, whatever you need in that specific season. He can be that and more. Hello. Woo. And then the last one that I want to pull out. I don't think I got this one from Google, but anyway. The third one is when you pull up your anchor. So like in the vessels, when they pull up their anchor, they don't need it anymore, right? They don't need it to make them be still. They don't need it to slow them down. They don't need the anchor down there anymore. They pull it up. They don't need it anymore. However, of course, we need Christ in every situation, every step, moment, hour, and second. But if you think about it, when they pull up that anchor doesn't go away. That anchor is still right there connected to the vessel. That's a good one, because I thought about it. I was like, well, how do I parallel this to my life? Because when they don't need the anchor anymore, if Christ is my anchor, there's always some time where I need him. But if I don't need him to be still, make me be still, or if I don't need him to slow me down, I pull him up and he is still with me as I go through whatever I'm going through, whether it be a storm, whether it be high winds or crazy waves, you know, he is still with me. That anchor doesn't go away. We don't chop that anchor off. When you pull him up, he is right there with you. He don't ever go away. So that vessel always holds on to that anchor. And when they need it, in the time that they need it in, they drop it. So that's how I feel as an anchor when I need Christ in a specific time in my life, or if I need him at that specific moment, because sometimes when I'm in front of these students and I need him to give me some wisdom, he needs to be my wisdom, I pull on him. I drop that anchor. I drop that anchor. Yes, you are the anchor. So those are the three things that I wanted to share with you that I have studied, that Christ is being my anchor. I encourage you also, if you find yourself in a service and you are worshiping and you are thinking you are connecting with that speaker and you have no clue what he's talking about, I encourage you to study it on your own. Like, you can agree with him, and say, oh yeah, he's a keeper. But until you have that moment, that intimacy with Christ, him being a keeper, you can just like agree with him. But if you can witness with them and testify with them, oh yeah, he is the keeper. Oh yeah, he's a heavy load bearer. Oh yeah, he is a healer. Oh yeah, he is my anchor. Oh yeah, whew, he is the great I am. I could keep on going right here and tell you everything that he is to me, but I want you to study that. I want you to get into this word and find out who he is to you. And that is my devotion for this week. I really hope something that I have said or I have done encourages you. Please share this with somebody. I don't want my pain to be in vain, but I want my pain to be a purpose that will bring somebody else closer to Christ, or to keep pushing them through their journey and through their hard times, through their valleys, through their dark times, and get to know Christ along the way. Thank you for joining.